Joining me now from Washington is political reporter Lewis Nelson. Lewis, thank you for joining us. In that speech just a short time ago, Trump also suggested the next presidential debate may not be fair for an unusual reason. Let's actually listen into that.
We should take a drug test prior, because I don't know what's going on with her. But at the beginning of her last debate, she was all pumped up at the beginning. And at the end, it was like, oh, take me down. She could barely reach her car. So I think we should take a drug test. Anyway, I'm willing to do it.
You know, it's fascinating to hear him today make these allegations suggesting that she's using performance-enhancing drugs. What was that about today? Why did he do that? He even challenged her pretty much to taking a drug test.
Yeah, and I mean, that seems to be just sort of a normal, off-the-cuff Donald Trump sort of a line, as odd as that sounds for me to say that that's normal. You know, again, it speaks to this sort of cooked-up theory he has in his head that Hillary Clinton isn't healthy, isn't fit, doesn't have the stamina to be president, even though there's really not a ton of evidence to that. These are the sort of things that sort of whip up his base, get the attendees at his rallies really going. And that seems to be how he's judging the success of his campaign, the enthusiasm at these rallies. And it's attacks like that really seem to get people going.
I'm curious when you mentioned the enthusiasm, because Friday night, I'm wondering what the strategy was here. He opened up a rally by bringing Women for Trump on stage. They spoke on his behalf. But is this really an effective way to combat sexual misconduct allegations against him by bringing these women out? I mean, who is this playing to?
I think with everything he seems to have done in the past week, Donald Trump really seems to be playing to his base. The question sort of remains whether or not this helps him win any new voters, bring in any independent voters sort of into his camp. It doesn't seem to be helping him with women. Almost every poll that comes out show him struggling really, really badly with women, college-educated women especially. That's a group that Republicans generally and historically have done very well with, but Hillary Clinton has been very, very popular with them, and I think a lot of that is because of Donald Trump's sort of rhetoric towards women, especially in the last week or so with the tape that came out last weekend, and now all of these allegations of sexual assault.
Yeah, that video we just saw, I mean, he specifically brought out African-American women who he's not doing well with to begin with, so it was kind of a strange combination there. I want to also ask you, a lot of attention right now focusing on down-ballot races. What challenges are Republicans in the Congress who are up for re-election next year? What are they facing when they're juggling the situation with Trump, but also trying to get re-elected and regain control there of Congress? Retain control, I should say.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's a really difficult balancing act that they have to weigh there. If you step away from Trump, if you disavow him, abandon him as your party's nominee, that Republican base for whom Donald Trump is still very, very popular might abandon you if you're, you know, Joe Congressman or Joe Senator running for re-election. At the same time, endorsing Donald Trump right now is sort of a difficult proposition for a lot of these folks because, again, all these groups that are hesitant to get behind him, a lot of these independent voters, you want to court them as well as a Republican running for Congress or for Senate. And it's tough to do when your opponent can hammer you over and over again with your endorsement of Donald Trump. There's a real tightrope act that you have to do to kind of thread that needle a little bit.
Speaking of his opponent, Clinton is actually dealing with her own issues over these leaked emails between her campaign aides. And one, there's a suggestion on how to break Clinton out of the bubble, as they call it, by making beds in hotels or actually working behind the counter at McDonald's or Chipotle. What does that say about her campaign and the struggle that she's been having with her public image?
Yeah, I mean, I think that speaks to the problem that Hillary Clinton's had all along, that she is sort of this career politician, that she's been doing this for so long that a lot of people feel like she has trouble relating to them, relating to sort of the common, regular Joe Schmo American. And I think that this email, this plan, the suggestion that she sort of get into a blue-collar job, work behind the counter in a McDonald's, work as a maid in a hotel, something like that, is an effort to try to combat that and push back against that notion a little bit. But that's been a problem for Hillary Clinton for a long time. You know, ever since she was in the White House as First Lady and then as a Senator and Secretary of State, she's never totally been able to connect terribly well with blue-collar Americans And I think that that's why one reason why Donald Trump has been really successful with that group. He seems to be speaking to that group sort of specifically, and Hillary Clinton has had a hard time connecting with them in that same way.
You know, another problem that she's had is transparency, the issue of transparency. In one of the email exchanges, campaign chairman John Podesta suggests that holding emails between Clinton and President Obama from becoming public under executive privilege kind of helps that bubble narrative there, that, you know, everything she does kind of has this veil of secrecy. How does she escape that? And does it really matter in these last final weeks?
I don't know how she escapes it sort of so close to Election Day. I think that at this point, it seems to me that the narrative on both of these candidates is sort of cast. I don't know what she can do at this point to sort of push back against that notion of her sort of lacking the transparency gene. Whether or not it matters is a different question altogether. Donald Trump's campaign, if it's not self-destructing, seems to be coming fairly close to it. He's been struggling to sort of get back on the offensive. His campaign has been playing defense for a couple weeks now, ever since that first presidential debate. And I think that's why you see Hillary Clinton, not playing a little bit of four corners offense or prevent defense, so to speak, just trying to, letting Donald Trump take care of Donald Trump right now and not doing too much to get in the way of him running his own campaign.
Yeah, sometimes I guess in politics, you just got to step out and get out of the way. Lewis Nelson from Politico. Thanks for joining us, Lewis.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much, Rena.